This video might be one of the most important videos you've ever watched in your life. It's probably going to change your entire perspective on the entire world, and it's going to bring you down a rabbit hole that'll either create you into the God you are, or it might destroy you. With that being said, make sure you watch the entire video because this is something that I should put behind a paywall. I'm going to drop it for free because I love you guys. Tap in. We all talk about The Matrix. We all understand what the movie The Matrix was about. But what we don't see and what we don't compare is how that matrix operates, how it runs, and how it's really a construct we live in right now. Right now. Okay. And I'm going to try my best to try to condense so much information into one short video. But just understand that going to Colombia helped me find the exit to the matrix. Okay. But at what cost is important to recognize. So, number one, let's just talk about being a young man, young dude. I'm a young dude, not married. I don't have kids, currently don't have a girlfriend. But my soul, something deep within my instinctive man nature was calling me to explore and meet different women. I'm talking about like literally, when a dog is in heat, I hit that mode. And just, like the dating scene while I was in Florida just wasn't doing it for me. It just wasn't. You know what I mean? Like it was a constant game, it was a constant construct where every time you go out, you only meet women in places where you have to spend money. You have to feed the beast. And I started to understand like, damn, me coming out here, getting dressed, spending money to try to talk to women is all a construct to feed this beast. It's to make sure that I am pumping out dollars so that I have to then return to work, keep working to upkeep my cost of living that's rising. So the cost of living is rising, and now dating is getting even more difficult because as you get older, people don't tell you, hey, bro, you're going to start spending money to date some of these women. That's not something that they ever told me. I had to just figure that out. Right. And then you have these narratives online on social media that's feeding the woman these ideas about how men need to be doing something for them to give up some box, right? Before it used to just be easy. I can just go talk to a girl, she's feeling my vibe. Hey, boom, man, it's gonna happen. Talk to her for a little bit, give her some attention. Now it's about trying to strut these fiat dollars that you're working hard as hell for, right? It just doesn't make sense. It didn't make sense after a while. So finally, uh, you know, skip. I broke up with my girlfriend and I ended up plotting my trip to Colombia. I actually was gonna go to DR because I figured I could get my shit off in DR. But someone told me, said, "Hey, bro, screw DR, go to Colombia." And I was like, I never really like thought too much into it, but I started watching these YouTube videos on going there, and I'm just gonna be honest, I'm going there strictly for the women. Like I'm just going there for the baddies. Okay, not saying I didn't have baddies where I was at, but like, it's like you have to cut a foot off and sell it to try to get a baddie, you know what I'm saying? Over there is gonna be effortless. So I hop on this plane and I go down there to go find me some baddies. Okay, cool. As I'm down there, I start to recognize something. I start to recognize that the dollar conversion goes a lot farther. I start to recognize that me coming out here with a good amount of money that I had from working a bunch of overtime, the world is working for me in ways I couldn't even imagine. Not just the women, but just the amount of people that are willing to help me. People that are willing to be like, helpers or servers or maids or whatever it is, because this pocket change I'm tipping somebody is making their whole day. Right. So now I instantly start to notice that as I'm being heckled to buy things and being followed all over the place, and all these women are looking at me. After a couple days of being out there, I start to recognize like this must be what it is to be a rich guy. Like this is what it is to be a rich dude, but like I'm not confined by like, needing to work all the time or so I met this guy out there and he told me he worked in the US for like 20, 30 years. He retired in Colombia and he's living a very comfortable life. Like I'm talking about like nice ass apartment or house. beautiful women, food, sunlight. So now you're saying to me, well, how exactly is that leaving the matrix? Listen, bro, you have to understand what this did for me. Okay. What this did for me was number one, it taught me the value of a baddie. Okay. If you haven't seen it, watch my other video. I talk about how why you should chase baddies and women in the street. Why? Because those things have a chokehold on dudes, bro. They have a chokehold. Like people ruin marriages, ruin their life. They crash out if they had a baddie and now she's cheating on them. They straight up throw their life away. They don't even realize, like, yo, bro, there are literally so many baddies across the globe that will like are willing to be down for you if you just hop on a plane and go to another continent. Like they're there for you, bro. Like you don't have to crash out about nothing in the states. It's not even worth it. So going now, fast forward, going to Colombia a few more times, suddenly I become way more chill. I'm not as pressed to chase women or go so far for women because the cheat code was already going to Colombia, right? I'm not so pressed about, oh, I want to buy this big house, buy this, buy that. If I know that in the US, debt is the overarching like enemy to all of us working men, and the debt keeps increasing and how much we have to work keeps increasing, you're throwing your money into a hole. Meanwhile, I can own properties, I can do business. I can do a lot of things for just having a few thousand. I can make an impact, right? And yes, places like Medellin and Cartagena are seeing an influx of tourists because of these YouTube videos, and the prices of things are going up, and it's making people's lives in Colombia more difficult. And that's some of the trade off that you're going to have to be realistic about when you're going there, right? But when there's a will, there's a way. There's tons of opportunities that will open up, but I do foresee things getting a little worse before they get better. But, anyways, so now I start seeing how, you can live off a really decent wage. Like, I'm talking like you could probably live in Colombia comfortably if you're making between $1,500 and $2,500 a month, right? So if you're making $1,500 a month, I'll tell you how much that is per year. You're making about $18,000 a month. That's less than what a McDonald's worker is making. But now you have to think about how you're going to make that money, right? We could say, "Oh, that's only 18,000." But you have to have a consistent way to make that money, and that's where, this is the perfect time to become a digital nomad and be a passport bro because you can make income online. You can go to places like Upwork, Fiverr, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and offer services, offer something, work an online job that'll probably bring you three times that salary, and learn places you can go. Now, the big, populated gringo places will probably be safer for you at first glance. But when you start looking at how big the country of Colombia is and just the continent of South America, you can go anywhere, bro. It's the same women, it's the same baddies, it's the same dollar conversion. Some of these places that don't have so many tourists, you might even be more comfortable. I've had Colombian girls put me on to places to go that's super nice and super tourist friendly, but they don't have a bunch of tourists. So when they have tourists, it's cool, like they don't heckle you, they're not planning to drug you. Places that are tourist heavy usually have people targeting tourists, but if it's not tourist heavy, they don't target tourists. And you might be a pioneer in a place where you go out there with a good amount of money and a good income, and you start building real estate property and now renting it out and becoming more like familiar with the culture. And we're just talking about Colombia. Like Colombia is the cheat code. We're not even talking about like other places, you know what I'm saying? But that's why you have to do your research. You have to be extensive about this research when you go to these places. So you know if you're gonna run into racism, crooked police, crooked government, people just looking to tax you or make your life more difficult. But for me, Colombia was the cheat code. First of all, I stopped sweating baddies in the US. That was just, it's over for that. This same girl who's a baddie over here, you bring her to Colombia, she wouldn't even get looked at by anybody. Not even the locals would look at her. That's just, the humbling part about it. Right? So I'm like, you know what? I indulged in so many baddies over there in Colombia. I had so much fun. I met so much women out there. I met some good tourists and some good Americans, and I started to understand that playing the game of having baddies is all about having money and having access to things and creating a lifestyle, right? So when you already have the lifestyle, Now you don't crash out when you're in the States and you know how to navigate and move better and be smart about the things that you do. But secondly, when women in the States see your lifestyle overseas, they might try to clown you at first, but in the back of their head, they're really giving you that applause because it's like, yo, this dude's living his freaking life and he's enjoying it. And as you should, brother, enjoy your life. Who cares what these people got to say about the way you live in? The more I stopped caring, the more freedom came my way. Okay. So going to Colombia is like, it was like, yo, bro, this is like freedom. Like I feel like Neo in the Matrix. Like I figured this out. Like the American westernized construct is to uphold feminism to bring down the confidence of men. But me literally just getting on a plane and coming over to Colombia changed all of that. It changed the way I'm looking at money. It changed the way I'm looking at dating. It changed the way I'm looking at investment. Rich guys can buy out a bunch of property here in the US, Miami, inflate the price and make everyone's life hard. And yes, you will be doing that if you go to Colombia, but you can go there and create opportunities for others and yourself. And slowly, what we see as a third world country starts going to a second world and a first world country. And you're a pioneer in that, right? And that's just Colombia. But the biggest thing is that you have to have an income and you have to have a strong mind. Don't fall to the temptations. I do encourage you to indulge in the temptations safely, but don't fall for them to the point where you just like, you crash out. The biggest thing about going there was not crashing out, not getting burnt out from work, not getting burnt out from chasing love and chasing females and things like that. You get to experience dating and understanding females on steroids, bro. You get to see that stuff on steroids because you get to go through it at a much faster pace. So I feel like Neo in the Matrix. I'm going through the code like, yo, I understand how this world works. I get it. And the people that establish their dominance first inside of an area are the people that end up taking over and having all of those benefits. So when you see an opportunity open up, you got to grab hold of that ish and hold it tight. You know what I'm saying? And not everyone's going to be able to do this. So even if I share the gems, it's not like people are in a space mentally, financially, spiritually, or physically to really take a hold of this. But you guys can live vicariously through me by joining the Discord. Thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you guys.